pods primed. Mission preparation aborted. Pod launch suspended.
Hello and welcome to my solo Helldiver run on Helldive difficulty in Helldivers 2. Wow, I just said Helldive way too many times. But yeah, this is difficulty 9. I'm doing this solo. This is the automatons. I'm bringing the personal shield generator backpack, mortar sentry, gatling sentry, and a rocket sentry. Personally, looking back on it, I probably should have brought the railgun over the rocket sentry, but I was more afraid of if tanks showed up. But railgun should be able to deal with tanks as well, but I don't know. Yeah, we're just dropping in. Trying my best to not get detected within the first second of dropping, and there's nobody around me, which is very lucky. So first thing first, we'll get the shield generator backpack. One of the effects is stratagem scramble, so sometimes the stratagems I put in don't come out as they should. But that's not really an issue, just retry it again if it doesn't, and it usually becomes the one you want. So I'm checking my map. There's a small patrol in front of me. I'm debating whether to just charge in or to just use a sentry. I go with using a sentry. The reason I don't just charge in, so normally I would just charge in, but because there's enemies in the objective right next to it, they're just gonna call a bot drop, so I just decide to fort up with, you might see, 3 sentries. Yep, there's the flare. Just letting the sentries do the work. Mortar sentry, probably one of the best sentries, as it just takes out so many things while they're just so far away. But one problem is that it can't deal with hulks very well, which is why I brought the rocket sentry. Also the gatling sentry in case that fast runs up to it, but the reason I'm not really shooting anything right now is because I'm trying to let my sentries do all the work. When you shoot, it gets slower and enemies can catch up and just deal damage to you. The personal shield generator can take some hits, but it can't take that many, and I'm on light armor, so I'm especially squishy. The reason I'm running light armor is because it has the passive to, well, first, it's just you can sprint longer distances and run things much quicker. The other reason is because it has the passives where it can scan patrol, or scan for enemies based on your yeah, I go down here. It's there were two destroyers, not much. The reason, yeah, back to the light armor. So detection range, the range that robots can detect you, goes down by 30%. So you can honestly crouch or crawl walk up to some of them, right in front of them, pretty close before they detect you. So it's pretty nice. The other one is the passive to scan your enemies when you aim. It becomes very helpful for controls, but in combat you just get lit up very easily. Yeah, so a lot of destroyers and rocket devastators, or no, devastators. That's what they're getting. Lots of heavy devastators and rocket devastators. So they feel my cover and I get shredded like a piece of paper. Also, there's a rocket scout right there that explodes me. And he's like camping in the bush, and I couldn't see him at first. And then one bad habit I picked up since playing this game is just holding on to my grenades, because I usually save those for outposts. Generally, I don't really use many eagles or orbitals to explode the outposts. I usually just rock 2 sentries, the shield backpack, and then usually like orbital rail cannon for anything heavy. But yeah, I should be using my grenades more, especially with all these supplies that I'm picking up. Yeah, but this one's right as I get up, he does his rocket stance, and it was just unlucky, but it's okay. He's the only one in the area, so it's not too bad. It was like 3 deaths for the first one. Not a great start, but yeah, area's clear, so now I start doing the objective. There is one destroyer or devastator off in the distance. I'm trying to pick up my backpack so I don't get turned into Swiss cheese by him. Yeah, he spots me anyways, but
say hello to democracy!
oh, excuse me. I probably should have brought impact grenades. Usually the solid ones are pretty iffy on use. Impact is much better if you want it for like instant use. Like I've been. I'm looking for the last supply, I think. At this point, I should have been running to the fuse, but I just kind of forgot that that's the order, so a little bit of time lost, but it's fine. But yeah, first objective done, not too shabby. All my stratagems are back up, so I start heading over to the launch codes. So that one's theoretically quick and easy. It's just the get in, get out, but I took a little bit longer with this one, and you'll see why. So just checking my map, making sure I don't run into any patrols or like outlying bots that'll call in bot drop. So I get detected, back up, check my map. He's going around the rock, so I just say fuck it and run straight through. Thankfully, he didn't call. He was a rocket raider, so he didn't call one of the flares. So this is the launch codes. I see a walker and a devastator, so I just call it a Gatling sentry. And then I tried to call in the mortar, but then it scrambled into the rocket sentry. So yeah, all 3 sentries going down, letting it do the work. will say, in between this game, Helldivers 1 and Helldivers 2, Helldivers 2 gives you a lot more leniency with taking out any bots that or bots or bugs that'll call in like reinforcements. In Helldivers 1, if you just walked up and they slightly saw you off screen, they would just call it in and you'd be kind of screwed in a solo run. So there's a Hulk. I try to get my rocket sentry to shoot at it a couple times, get line of sight of it, dive out of the way of the flames to like not take too much burn damage. I'm looking for the launch codes, can't find it. It was actually right in front of me, but it was kind of hard to see. Just leading the Hulk. My rocket sentry focusing a single grunt, very cool. The Hulk's pathing a little bit iffy, but my rocket sentry locks on and it's shooting it and it goes down. Yeah, at this point I find the launch codes right there. Normally I would have just, if I noticed it sooner, I would have just grabbed it and run. Eventually, if you run far away enough, the bots just lose interest and just stand still. Especially if you have the scout armor, because it makes it harder for them to detect you at least. So here it's a little bit tense. There's a cannon turret in front of me to my right, and then there's like two small outposts, like really small outposts. Thankfully, none of them detect me.
Dropping a pin east.
I have had runs though where I walk by a cannon turret, I thought it didn't detect me, and then like 2 seconds later it shoots me in the back and I instantly die. So yeah, very lucky it didn't detect me. So I'm just pinging my map, trying to see where everything is. There's a small patrol in front of me of just like one or a couple guys, I think 2. And there's a big dude on the right, and I don't really want to mess with the big dude, so I slowly approach. Yeah, I'm not gonna deal with that one. So we try sneaking past the guy. He does end up seeing me. You're gonna see it here. He sees me, and that's what that's the red scan thing. That means that they see something, but it doesn't mean that it's like automatically they've noticed you, so you can duck behind something and be fine. Yep, so still sneaking along, I get to the fuel area. I see the 2 guys in front of me. My Gatling's about to go on cooldown, still sneaking out. So I toss it. I tried to do mortar, but it scrambled into rocket, so I shot it a little bit more forward. Gatling turret, taking care of most of it. And then I didn't call my mortar. That was like a pretty big mistake. I didn't realize till now, and then yeah, I just dropped it. So far so good. I see the 2 Devastators back up a little bit, because they were just gonna shred me otherwise. Blew the arm off 1 Devastator and then took it out. And then I'm just trying to grenade it just to. And then the grenade didn't take it out, which is unfortunate, but it took out the arm. There's 2 Hulks. Rail cannon here would have been nice because I could have just taken the Hulks out with 2 well-placed headshots in unsafe mode. At this point, I get stuck and I'm trying to like get out, but I can't. And yeah, that happens.
Ready to liberate.
So unfortunate, but yeah. Yeah, so both the Hulks still on the site for whatever reason. I thought they would have been more on top of the mountain, but enemy path, their pathing not too great, but that's fine. Yeah, so I'm going to grab my stuff, grab the backpack right as the guy swings so I didn't take damage. And then there's a little bit scuffed. The Hulk split up, and I'm trying to lure them away from the main objective so I can do it. I start chucking my grenades. They do a little bit of damage, but not too much to take it out. Sadly, especially these last two because I didn't toss them right and they got blocked. But yeah, one of the Hulks is chasing me, the other I don't know where it was, but it's also trying to chase me. Thankfully, personal backpack shield taking hits for me so I didn't just get eviscerated by the burns. Yeah, and then, so what I try here, so I try to lure them out of the objective. Difficulty 9 Hulks are obnoxiously fast, so I try to lure them out a little bit. But they just get stuck and yeah. So, calling my mortar. Really bad mortar placement, I'm not even gonna lie. I think my thought process was I wanted the mortar to take hits for me. Because Hulks will sometimes aggro onto the sentry to deal with that. And then my least favorite part, the puzzle. It's not that I'm bad at these, it's just with the pressure of a Hulk chasing you. Yeah, it's a little bit stressful and a lot. I think at this point I try to shoot it in the back, but their turn rate is so obnoxious. Like, look at this. I'm in scout armor, the fastest armor there is, and I can't really shoot in the back. I get a couple shots in. Actually, I was able to take it out. I told you. But yeah, really annoying to deal with solo. And then the other one just takes me out because I straight up didn't know where it was, and it just snuck up on me. This hell pod drop, I had no choice in it. There's like some weird thing where it'll straight up just won't let you move. But I start calling in my sentries again, hoping this rocket sentry will take the Hulk out. Gatling takes out the meat drones, but there's actually a Hulk in that patrol, which was mighty unfortunate. At this point, I tried to pick up my backpack but couldn't find it, so I'm like, whatever. So I start trying to do the puzzle. What I didn't realize is that the first layer was movable until, just now. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, just turning valves while trying to avoid the two Hulks. Not an easy task. Try chucking some grenades. They both miss. I'm looking for the third valve, and I spot it, but the problem is that the Hulk's a lot closer to it. So I tried taking him behind this thing. Dive. Save myself to get some HP and stamina, and then the other Hulk has just been here the entire time, and is it to dodge that flamethrower? So I saw my backpack down here, I went to get it, but then I almost got soft locked actually. I was like, oh, at this point I was like, oh no, what do I do? Because I just kept falling over. I was out of grenades. I had no way to kill myself, and there was just a Hulk standing over me, not doing anything. I was like thinking to myself, do I have to restart? But thankfully there was a grenade that one of the bots tossed.
Democracy has landed.
So, another dive. I'm on my last dive for 2 minutes. Unfortunately, because of that soft lock. I apparently called down my shield generator backpack, and I didn't realize when, but yeah, I have no shield generator backpack. Like, getting hit once by these Hulks could be the end of me, so I'm just chucking grenades to get burned again. Thankfully it didn't kill me with that flamethrower somehow.
Fire in the hole.
Yeah, so I end up just bolting. There's the other Hulk. I chuck a grenade at it. Doesn't do anything because it takes too long to explode. And then there's the third Hulk. The one stuck at that area, but it's fine. I just flip it, and then start running to the ICBM. I probably should have grabbed the second backpack, but I was just more concerned that the Hulks would have caught up or like killed me, so just started running. So I'm checking out the layout, making sure I don't run into any patrols, because that could be the end of the run. There's a minor place of interest, but I'm like, eh. On difficulty 9, they shoot the flares really fast, so I just didn't want to risk it. Yeah, I just start crouch walking. Yeah, there was a little patrol outside of the ICBM, but my reinforcements came, so I was much more inclined to sprint towards it. All my sentries go off cooldown. I just run up, start shooting it. There's not a big group inside the ICBM. And then that rocket sentry placement kind of bad, not gonna lie. It's just blocked by so many things. But I put the Gatling turret more on top. This one has more field of view. Start doing it. And then before I put in the code, I just pre-unlock the silo just to make it easier. Yep, there's the bot drone. Thankfully it's kind of far away, so they won't be dropping like straight on top of me. Plus the mortar can deal with most of the group that spawns there, but there is a Hulk that drops, and sadly Gatling turret just doesn't have the armor pierce for it. So I input the code. And then I just have to wait. Call in some supplies just for like some grenades or something.
Throwing grenade.
Try to kite the Hulk, but then it just annoyingly, it gets stuck right on top of the console. And it's like, if I approached, like, from the ramp, it would have just turned at me and then tried to kill me. So I was just figuring out what I could do. And then, oh joy, a second Hulk shows up. So I decided to aggro the stuck Hulk to try to get it away. But it just feels like camping for some ungodly reason. So then I go around some rocks, trying to get the Hulks to follow me. One of the Hulks is, the other's off the console, which is fine. So I try to do the last two remaining parts of the ICBM. On a shield backpack because I didn't want to die at this point. It was like a really good run. Still can't get the console. It was very cool. But thankfully it got off of it, which allowed me to do the last two parts. Down a couple sentries, try to prepare the Hulk, and then my rocket sentry just looks at it. I guess there's a minimum distance to shoot for the rocket sentry. Again, I probably should have brought rail cannon, but I thought rocket sentries would have been better for the tanks. So I'm on the last step. So let's just launch this bad boy, and then once it's launched, I try to see if where the extraction is while my rocket sentry fails to take out this single Hulk. I honestly think autocannon would have been better than the rocket sentry. Yeah, just start beelining it for the distraction, but then there's a team of Devastators in front of me, so I try to avoid them, but they spot me anyways, and I'm like, well, damn. So I start just booking it. There's a hell bomb in front of me. Just decide to blow it up and run. But yeah, at this point I'm just checking my map, making sure I don't run into patrols, and just try to make it as fast as I can to the distraction.
Dropping a pin. Southeast. Tagging map. South. Found something.
Somehow that bot sees me. I don't know how, but thankfully it didn't send a flare. and there was only one, so, and I almost stepped on top of this mine. It wasn't an armed mine, but it would have been bad.
Deploying equipment package.
Yeah, this area is pretty clear because I already cleared it out thanks to the power generator objective. I just had to call in a supply drop just to handle up in case it became too hard at the extraction point. All there is left to do is extract and make sure I don't die 2 times.
Deploying sentry.
Calling all my sentries when they're off cooldown. Again, thank you. Stratagem scramble. Very cool.
Extraction shuttle inbound. Sending down ETA. T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Gatling sentry absolutely eviscerated by those rocket devastators, unfortunately. But it took out a good deal.
ETA. T-minus 1 minute.
Thankfully, I got this little hidey hole, but then for some reason my character decided to fall over the small barrels. But thankfully the enemies weren't coming in too fast or surrounding me, so I was able to just pick off slowly these small guys.
ETA. T-minus 30 seconds.
And unfortunately one of them did call in flare, so I just decided to run.
T-minus 20
There was a
seconds.
Hulk and I had no armor piercing, but there was a Devastator around the corner. It was easy to deal with. There's a Rocket Devastator to my left, which I didn't see. Again, shield backpack, very clutch. Yep, so I'm on the last 10 seconds waiting for the Pelican to come in.
Pelican 1 landing sequence initiated. Watch where you're standing. For democracy!
And for me, this felt like the longest Pelican landing ever. I guess it was because of the enemy straight underneath it, but eventually it does get down, and then I was able to extract. But yeah, that was the Helldive difficulty solo ICBM run. If you liked it, please leave a like, and if you want more content like this, just subscribe. And then if you want me to do a specific type of mission solo, just put it in the comments and I'll upload that when I'm able to do it. Alright, peace.
triumphant